The annual prelude to the Tour Down Under, now known as the Schwalbe Classic, sees a first major outing for many of the riders of the Men's World Tour. The course is a short, technical, but ultimately fast course on the streets of downtown Adelaide that's tailor-made for the sprinters, of which there are many in this field. Caleb Ewan, Elia Viviani, Andre Greipel and Sam Bennett to name but a few. 30 laps of a 1.7 km circuit totalling 51 km, which shouldn't take much more than an hour for some of the best riders on the planet. As we got away in the early hours of the evening local time and the threat of rain on the cards in the city, although looking at the bigger picture, a much needed respite from the dry, hot conditions that have seen forest fires do so much damage in many parts of Australia. It didn't take long for some early attacks. On the first lap we had Manueli Boaro pushing clear with Joseph Cherney and Nick White in attendance, and they were soon joined by Slovenian champion Domen Novak of Bahrain McLaren and Stefan de Bod of NTT, formerly known as Dimension Data. It wouldn't be a Criterium without some preems, the first of which coming at the end of the fifth lap. White taking out the sprint with the peloton not far behind at this point, just 9 seconds. Caleb Ewan staying cool as a cucumber at the back, the pace not ferocious at this point, in fact slow enough to allow Kiel Reinen to bridge across and add to the firepower in this splinter group up front. Boaro, however, keen to crack on, and a small injection of the pace brought the gap up to above 20 seconds. This breakaway was never out of sight of the peloton, and having seen what happened in the women's race, you wouldn't blame him. Cherney pushed on, but behind, Ineos were getting to work at the head of the bunch. While Reinen held on to take the final preem at the end of lap 25, it was soon all over for our breakaway. Laura Hansgrohe were also looking prominent at this stage, and a little further back, Caleb Ewan moving up the pack, ably guided by his wingman Roger Kluger. The rain continued to fall and traction was increasingly hard to come by on some of the corners. Max Canter and Marc Sarraut hitting the deck, but able to get back on their bikes. The order of the day to come away unscathed from this one, with plenty of early season racing still to come. Christopher Halverson had the pink train of EF Pro Cycling working for him on the final lap, and they still had numbers at the front as we turned onto the final 300 metres. Tom Scully flicking his arm, but the pace didn't seem to be fast enough as Ewan darted into the gap along the boards, getting into that familiar aero sprint position and quite frankly leaving everyone else in the dust. This is the 4th time in 5 years that he's taken this curtain-raising crit, and the signs are looking very good for the start of his home World Tour race in a couple of days' time. By the way, we've got live streams of all 6 stages right here on GCN Racing. That's on the back all round for the team, an exhibition in effort management from Ewan, making one concerted push to get towards the front when the time was just right. Replays here showing just how close his shoulders get to the bars in that sprinting position of his. Quite a sight to behold when he's in full flow. Here is your top 10. Elia Viviani and Simone Consoni never really in the picture, but they'll have plenty more opportunities to shine next week. Promising signs too for Sam Welsford in 8th. The National Criterium champion will certainly be one to watch in his first World Tour race, riding for the Uni SA team. Don't forget to subscribe to GCN Racing to make sure you don't miss any of the action from the Tour Down Under.